All right, all you devils, happy Friday. How's it going? Here we are coming up on noon here, September 18th. Oh, so we'll start with Bitcoin here. I've got looks like there's a handful of alts that you guys are interested in as well, but we'll split those into two different videos. So let's just focus on Bitcoin first. I thought we'd do it with and without the Elliott. So more of a price action approach here. Now here I say that, I've got an ABC here. Well, just because we're not trying to put together an Elliott count at every single swing, well, we can still identify a three-wave counter trend swing, right? We don't have to be Elliott trade. I mean, shit, call it 1, 2, 3 if you prefer that, right? If you want to get away from the Elliott, it's three-wave, right? We know the market moves in 5s and 3s. Whether or not you want to quantify that and use Elliott Wave rule set there, that's individual choice. Or it often is a function of whether or not it's really there. And as I often say, is it helping? Well, we'll get to the count in a minute. But just looking here, so this is it's just basic price action here is been quite consistently good here. So this is about as obvious as it could be. I mean, we're right here on the edge of all the volume profile. We came into all this market structure here. We found a base and now we've rallied. But what did we do? We go right into where we would anticipate that we'd find that resistance. And I'm pulling swing high to swing low. We're not quite to the golden zone yet, but you can see, well, here if I zoom in there, we've bumped our heads here right, to the tick. Right, so if that's that first, well, this little double bottom here is right where we found the resistance. Not terribly surprising. It does appear as though there's potential for one more little kick up here to tap that golden zone. Now we know, again, of course, there's no condition here that we can't get through. It's just you can anticipate that if we get up here, you're likely to find a reaction there. Now, a reaction could be short and sweet, right? Could be just a little scalp there, and then off we go. But, the other thought here, well, okay, so we've got pretty much of a box that we're in until we break one side or the other. We have a little internal trend here where we've got a series of higher highs, higher lows, but we can't ignore the fact that that's currently now, it's still counter trend. Here's the dominant, low, lower high, lower low. So, we're going to need that has to break. So we've got to get up here and then get, for this trend to really take off here and for us to acknowledge that there's been a behavioral change and we've got the ingredients for a more substantial trend change. Right now, we're certainly vulnerable to this just going, wrong one. Just going from swing low up here, hitting that resistance, coming back down, right? So what would we have, right? We just have an internal retracement setting up for so there's all of the potential for this just to be swing, retrace, find some of this structure, carry on with this trend. Then we'd have those ingredients, right? Then we'd have swing, higher low, higher high, right? Then we can start to get more aggressive about where we're potentially headed. Right now, it's just we've got a range. So if I were to just extend this out, and even if I include the golden zone here, we're going to catch some of this structure as well. And you probably pull that off over here and get some more of that. Pull this over here, we got more of that. So where are we? We're between 11.2 and 9.8. So until we get out of this, right, we're kind of it's a scalper's market in here. What I see here is that the opportunity is just as kind of as I was outlining here. I want to come up here. I want it to tap that golden zone, then kick back a little bit. So then we can set up for the retrace, right? Swing, internal retracement that goes into external. Right? It's the way the market moves. Now there's a few. There's a couple of things here that are starting to make you feel like we've got a good contender here for a solid low. Now it's yet to be really tested. Maybe you can make the case here that this here coming up is the second test, but you'd like to see some of this get a little test, so you'd feel better about our bulls here really serious here. We come down, test some of that structure, and can we push off? But this is, of course, we got to break this golden zone. But as soon as we break that golden zone, let's get you off here. As soon as we break that one, then we got to go up to this one. This was just an observation I made from a lower pivot. So this is ultimately the next one we got to get through, and you'll note here this trend line kind of teeing that up with this trend here. So now if we look at it this way, from swing high to swing low, we've just come up little front run on the 50, and it looks like this structure is preventing it from getting there. But if indeed this is, and I don't know that this is a hard low, but if we're going to come down here, pivot on some of this, this is what we got to get to, right? So that's 11.5 and change. They're high probability now, because we've got some geometry confluence here as well, that you're likely again to get a reaction. Doesn't mean we have to do this, but there will be an algo there that's got that as its target. We know that. We don't have to wonder about that. So along the way here, we got to get some sort of a retrace here. I'll get the right one back on here. Let's go here. Right. So down here would be the 50 golden zone. That's where you'd love to get a chance to buy it if you could. If we got it, if we got something like this, boy, I'd be, look here. Right, nice little divot, all the supports down here at the golden zone. So here's your next, I mean, if it's offered, right? This is pretty much what we'd be looking for. I watch for that could hold it. But if we're going to come down here, if we can come down and get that in a 3, pretty juicy. And that may well be that there's one more kick, and then we get this before we get that. That's what I'm, there's not much else to work with here. At this degree, I mean, here I'm on a 3-hour. Until we get out of this box, right, it's just sideways. Now, we'll go over here. Let's look at the Elliott count. So this is tricky, right? So this is what's making this, a little suspicious, because this is one hell of an ugly ending diagonal to get to that C. Now, is it valid? Yeah, actually it is. I mean, you double bottom here in the 5th, but you can get that to play. All right, into a 5, and then coming off of that, it does look like we've got a this is a 1 tick over, so you got to trade it as a diagonal. Looks like we can go 1, 2. There's an impulse right in here. It's a little squirrely at the top. 4. Now are we going? Right, so the potential is there. This is down to an hourly. Oh, let's zoom that out a little bit. So here's our candidate for a 4. So let's bring this all down. So there's our 1, 2. I know that sure looks like a 5, but that's all I have to work with. Sure does. But look what comes off of it. So unless you're trying to wedge some sort of expanded B into that, which I suppose well, shit, I don't think you can. Right? So you got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're just stuck with that. It's not going to ruin my day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can get that. I've got an impulse off of this 3. This again, a little sloppy. So you can see how it may be, right? You could just kind of broader swing structure. You could see if this is going to fail. If we're going to take out this low, likely we're going to come down and challenge some of this market structure. But right now, there's a little bleeding diagonal in that. I mean, it's a 1. I mean, a really like a 1 barely like 1 tick overlap. Right? But that's all it takes. So you got a leading diagonal into the 1. Looks like we're trying to hold on to the 2 here. It's already through the golden zone, so you've lost any short-term algo support. That right there. You just broke it by a tick, right? We're seeing that more and more. But that would make you concerned about this pivot getting threatened. So if we come, let's get. Well, there's 707. That might be what's at play here, right? So we're still holding, and then I've got a trend line here, and I'm trying to connect as many as I can here without going into any bodies. So okay, maybe you got a contender here. That's a deep 2, but that's going to need to hold. So this has got to get legs to come out of here. Again, just connecting the trend line here off of this low, and then I've got let's bring this down a notch. So. Right now, that's just kind of what we're dealing with. But a break here to come challenge this low, and this count is going to be altered. Right? We can kind of anticipate that then this is going to be ABC, and then this will be the key level here. Right? Can we hold this? We hold this down here. Note the low volume node there. Right, so that's vulnerable. Right? Everybody sees that. We're a volume profile. So then we look here. We say, okay, well, do I have something that's a contender for this coming back down? Well, look at that, right? So if we come back down here, and this is going to break here, and we come down, and we double bottom here. Now you're kind of, getting. You'd want to see a reaction here as we're going. I would be reluctant to try and label that until I saw what happened down here. Now, are we going to break that pivot? Because then this count starts to fall apart, and you got to rethink. Okay, if we're coming down here, do I have to go back here and rework through that? Right now, no need to. And since this is corrective, there's always the possibility that we'd come down here and you'd get the corner on a shift median. There is another set of median lines that seem to have held this really, really well coming off the low. I think I've got it, still got it here. There we go. So coming off of this low, now it's a little unusual, and we're essentially working with a double bottom, but as I said, once you get that pivot, right? Now, you could have been looking for it here, here, here. So, granted, you could have been here and taken a stop or two off of this, but once you get it, well, here's your 80%, right? But look, that's to the tick. It's for geometry, there is nothing better, right? It remains the most underused drawing tool amongst every trader. I mean, it's just amazing, right? It's in every technical package, yet it's the least used of all the tools, which is our advantage, right? So, but yeah, please keep on not using it, right? You'd love that. It's amazing to me how few people actually use it. So I got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're gonna hold here. We got to finish here with a 5. So coming off of that, it looks like, all right. So that's the first hurdle right here's that big golden zone. Well, that's the golden zone from the secondary pivot, but that kind of sets that up. Now you're going up maybe for that higher, right? For the higher one from the top. Here's the one from the top, which is it's golden zone. It's called 11.5. This is this would be here's 11.5. So this is the one from the secondary pivot. So we'd have to go up one, right? If that's the big one we got to get through right there. All right, so you can see now, yeah, look how that lanes up. Pretty nice, right? So here's your sliding parallel holding it all the way up. So right now, if this is going to hold here, now we need to kick out of there. No, for this count really is going to start pretty solid here if we can kick out of this and go right up to that golden zone. When we just set it up perfectly, right? Then you're looking for that before the big one goes. So coming back the other direction, let's get this out of here. So it's all just a function. Can we hold here? Can we hold? I don't know that we can, but right now, fingers crossed. If we were to pivot there, let's just see if we can put the whole thing together, right? If we were to get a pivot here, well, now this is kind of interesting. So this structure comes back into play all down here, where you might be looking for that retrace. If you can get it in 3, boom. Right, that's one, right? Whether and I would suggest that you trade it like that. So if you get that opportunity, you got to be aggressive there. Right? I mean, you've completed an impulse. You got this double bottom low here. You got this beautiful set of median lines. You get a retrace. You got a low volume divot here. I got a golden zone. I got a big level of support here. This is, I say you have to take that trade, but I like to phrase it this way: why would you not take that trade? Right? I mean, anybody watching this, I know there are bears that watch this, and their agenda is I want it lower so I can buy it lower. Well, I guess I get that, but if that sets up for you, I mean, if you're watching my videos, right? I'm assuming this will end up on YouTube, so this is not to members, but this was to YouTube subs. If you're watching my content and that sets up, you're wasting your time here if you don't jump on that. That's a must take, in my book. If it comes in a 3, you have to take that trade, right? Now, put a stop on it, but you want to dab a toe there at least. Yeah, it's a little choppy, right? It's not textbook perfect. The Elliott is always a little elusive in Bitcoin, which is why I'm giving you an alternate here. I mean, people like price action. It's so much easier. I get that, right? There's an art to it, and you got to learn. It takes time to learn how to read the market, but it's certainly not a whole lot of rules to memorize. It's much easier, which is why it's so much more popular than Elliott. Well, that's one of the reasons, right? People like to bitch about Elliott. It's subjective, and there is. No doubt about it. There's subjectivity to it in that context of 10 Elliotticians. I'll give you 10 different counts, right? I get that. I wouldn't use it if it wasn't helpful. I wouldn't teach it if I didn't think it would help you. But you don't have to use it, right? It's always number 3 on the list of priorities, right? First, geometry, then fib relationships, then the Elliott wave. So we've got nice geometry here, right? We doubled the channel. We got the pivot here. This has got fib in it, right? So this is the 1. This is the B here. We come right to the 1618, 175 window. So you've got confluence down here. You got price action, right? You got market structure. You got a little volume profile. You got a fib relationship. You got a double bottom. You've got an impulse coming off of that. What more are you looking for? what else do you want? Well, maybe you want volume. Okay, well, oh, I don't have an OBV on this. Oh, well, yeah. All right, so check your OBV. I'm going to bet you that bulls are starting to show their teeth here. So, or show their horns, perhaps I should say it that way, and bears would be showing teeth. Well, now, bears they're here, right? They showed up right here at this structure, right? Prior, So do you understand what they're doing, right? This is just, so there are people that shorted this, right? That are short, right? What are they doing right here? They're defending their shorts. Defend the shorts, protect the jewels. We, right, being, I would say we, right? Most of us, I've got to make the assumption that most of us are long-term bullish on crypto, right? What are you doing in here if you're not, right? So I've got to assume that you're long-term bullish. So it's just a question of where's the appropriate place to enter the market to get long. I think ultimately that's the question, right? That's why people watch these videos. If you're not a member, right, you're working on your Elliott account and your price action, your market structure. But if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, I'm assuming you're bullish. Maybe not. Maybe not. Don't let that get away from you, right? I mean, I'm not one of those people who tell you, well, you'll never see it here again. But boy, is that just, if you're a technician, you got to take that trade. You put a stop on it. Look at the risk reward. That's what it's about, right? There's no certainty. There's no guarantees of where that's going. All we get is probability and patterns that we know repeat in the market. That's what we're trying to do with Elliott Wave. Repeatable patterns that we can predict from. Otherwise, it's just fucking chaos. Swing, up, down, what shit, who knows? How else? It's just a way to organize the chaos. That's all Elliott is. So if we come down here, and just right there, that's about 4-1. Just assuming you got the swing down here, up, we come down, and now we're going to swing back to that golden zone, right? And I don't know that we're pivoting here. But if you get offered that opportunity, you got to take that. But put a stop on it. And I don't know that I'd be overly levered here. People love to trade with leverage because this is what people do. They focus on how much they can make, not how much they could lose. Right? What does a pro do? Focused on how much they could lose. Always first question, what's my risk? Retail, what's their first question? How much could I make? That change your mindset there if you want to survive. All right, let's see. I don't know if there's much else I can add here. Pretty short and sweet. We haven't done a lot, right? We've been in this range since, I don't know, a couple of weeks since a couple of weeks ago when I was suggesting that 92. Well, I just told you what I was doing, buying at 9,200. That was my fill. Oh, pardon me. I had two fills, 10.2 and 92. I'm unfilled on 92, but got filled on 10.2. I still have that order down there at 92, right down here. Unfilled. Wouldn't break my heart if it didn't get filled. Right? That's why I took the 10.2, right? Just in case 9.2, which was very technical, right? We can see here's the POC, just what I'm looking at, all this structure here. Would I have been sad about getting it at 9.2? No. But it's not going to break my heart if I don't get it, and as long as this keeps rolling here. That's why you want to get a piece of it rather than say, I want. See, this is often, right, the other side of the coin. People say, oh, if it's not perfect, if I don't get exactly 12 confluence points all at that level here, well, I'm just not going near it. You're gonna leave a lot on the table here, right? It's just everybody has to make their own decisions about their risk tolerance and what's the right setup for them. But I'm trying to teach you things that are very consistent. That over time, sure, I get stopped out all the time. The idea is not that you're not going to get stopped out or that you're going to find the perfect trade. You got to continually do the same thing, right? It's the repetition of it. So that when it comes down here, there's not that question like, shit, am I buying here? I don't know, shit, should I buy it? I better check with somebody. No, you don't need to check with somebody. This is not complicated. That's not complicated. Well, we got to watch this here. Would love to see that go, right? So then see if that goes, then you get a little bit more confidence in the count into where we are. Okay, look, I got a 5, I got a little kind of a skinny 3, but now if that starts to go, then the whole thing starts to solidify. I say, okay, I feel good about this 1, 2. Now I'm feeling good about that 3 right on that trend line. Looks like we're going up towards that golden zone. The whole thing, now there's a little more confidence there. Here, you're still kind of nervous about it, right? I get that, right? I mean, shit, you could be along right there. No, same reason. depending on when you watch this. No reason not to take that long. None. Right? Stop under this pivot. Because if it comes, do you see that? Right? So that's one of the things I like about Elliott Wave is that with this count, as I've got it here, if I take out that pivot, the count is wrong. So I want to be out now because whatever I thought was happening here is not happening. So something else is happening. Okay, well, now I got to reorganize my thinking and what I'm seeing here in the swing structure, but I get a clear, see, it's more than just it's a pivot break. It's a complete change of your analysis. That's why I like that, because I don't have to think about, well, shit, do I change my, what do I do now? Right? It clearly tells me that this is wrong. Not could it be wrong, could it be right? It's wrong. So I want to be out here if this breaks, right? Cannot be what I'm thinking it is. I like that definitive, conclusive decision tree. Can't be that. Okay, what else is it? What could it be? Right now, there's no reason not to take that because what's the, right, if you're taking it right here, right, let's going for the golden zone. All right, here's the pivot low. That's where I absolutely want to be out for all those reasons I just said. What do I got here? 3.4 to 1. And that's just assuming we're getting to this first golden zone. All right, we're going to complete that up there. Again, why would you not take that trade? I mean, you want to get a little tighter, want to get a little bit cleaner? Wait for a little pullback, maybe test that pivot. Now you got 4.3 to 1. Again, I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for there. That's just perfect. Perfect. You've got all the ingredients you look for. You got market structure, you got an Elliott count, you got a 4 to 1 trade with a clear target that has proven to be accurate from the low. What are you waiting for? See, you can't. Scared money never wins. You cannot trade with fear at the forefront of your mind. You want to respect the market and understand how quickly it can take from you, but you can't be in here trading with fear. You can't do it. You won't be successful. That doesn't mean you're wildly aggressive, but if a setup is there, you take it. You put your stop on it and you move on with your day. Okay, let's see how it goes. But you don't hover over it. Go. So every little swing, you're clenching your sphincter. Oh, fuck, it went down. Oh, shit, how it's going up. You can't. It's just you put the trade on, put your stop on it. Here where we know it's very clear what's going on here. If that breaks, something else is going on. Okay, loser. What's next? Is that blowing up my account? Did I put on way too much size? Did I over lever it? I'd like to think not, right? There's no reason to do any of that. Pull the trigger. Put a stop on it. Next trade. All right. A little mini rant, right? Wasn't really to go there. It just kind of comes over me. Okay, there you go. So I think that's all. Got a couple of things you can be watching here. Good opportunities here. I love the steady uptrend here. It's a slow, steady grind. It'll be interesting to see how, as I've said many times, I think we are into, the next 45 days are going to be unlike, anything we've seen in our lifetimes across the markets. Now, that's I don't mean to be melodramatic, but I think we're going to see volatility the likes of which I've never seen. That's my guess. I'd love to be wrong. God, I'd love to be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think we're heading towards some volatility the likes of which is going to be breathtaking. So, how does the market respond, right? If the stock indexes are falling, which I think is highly likely, it's going to drag Bitcoin down with it, or people are going to we're going to lose that correlation that we continue to seem to have between Bitcoin and the market. It's going to be very interesting. Okay, guys, there you go. Members, I'll be back. We've got looks like about a dozen alts to go through here. I'll do those in one. We'll look at them each in one larger video here. So this will call it a wrap here for the day. Keep your eyes on this. All right, guys, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later.